Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to discuss about exponents that are unit fractions. These are all the examples that I want us to investigate and explore. So let us begin. All right, so from the exponential form, I would like to switch them all to radical form. So in the radical form, 4 to the power of 1 half becomes square root of 4. The index, which is right here, is actually the denominator of your unit fraction. This exponent right here is actually the numerator of your unit fraction. Whenever you're getting the square root, it is understood that this index right here is a 2. I'm not supposed to put it there, or I'm not required to put it there. However, just to emphasize to you, this is actually an index of 2. And so your answer to what is the square root of 4 is a 2. So that's the principal square root of 4. It's a 2. Now why? Because 2 times 2 is a 4. So what I want you to do right now is to see the relationship of these factors to the index. So what you're doing is you're looking for a number that if you multiply or use as a factor twice will be a 4. And that is 2. So therefore the answer here is a 2. All right, so for our next example, it is cube root of 8. So what's happening is, again, this index is actually the denominator of your unit fraction. And the power right here, which I wrote here on the first example, is really not supposed to be written. We're not required to. It is understood to be a 1. So I'm slowly, gradually removing all those things for you. So right now here, it's understood that there is a numerator of 1, but we're not required to put it. So let's answer this now. Let's try to analyze this. What number is it that if you use as a factor 3 times will be 8? I want you to think about it. And the answer is 2. Now, once again, let's examine why. And this is the reason why. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. So once again, the index tells you of that number that you're going to multiply or use as a factor that many times in order to get the radicand, which is your 8. Now let's take a look at 625 raised to the power of 1/4. Again, let's go ahead and show it in the form of radical. And so once again, your radicand is going to be the base of your exponent, and your denominator is going to be the index. Your numerator is a 1 right here, which is there, but I'm not required to put there. All right, so let's go ahead and think of a number that if you use that if you multiply by itself using as a factor 4 times will be 625. And the answer is 5. Why? And this is why. 5 times 5 is 25, times 5 is 125, times 5 is 625. So again, notice the relationship of the number of factors, which is 4, to the index. All right, so for our last and final example, 32 raised to the power of 1/5. So let's go ahead and turn this into the radical form. So the 32 right here, which is the base of your exponent, becomes the radicand. The 1 in the numerator becomes the exponent. And then the 5 in the denominator becomes the index. Pause for a while and think of a number that if you multiply and use as a factor 5 times, it will be a 32. And yes, the answer is 2. Let's investigate why. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. Once again, the number of factors is your index. I would like to conclude this lecture by showing you that those can also be plugged in on Desmos as they are, and the answers will be given to you as well. So I hope that you have learned a lot today, and this concludes our lecture on exponents that are unit fractions.